So, as we have seen that the Rattrap seller found shelter at an old man's cottage. The Rattrap seller felt that the old man was not only liberal in sharing his porridge but also his secrets. He tells him, means this old man, the crofter, he tells him that he was a rich man when he used to work on the rented farm. As he was old now and couldn't work, so he had to depend upon his cow for his living. The cow gave enough milk every day to be sold in the factory that produced cheese and cream. The old man said that he was able to earn 30 kroners last month because of the cow's milk. The Rattrap seller did not believe the old man's words that a cow could earn him so much. And therefore, the old man took a leather pouch which hung on a window and took out 3 notes of 10 kroner each, which were old and crushed. He showed those currency notes to make him, the Rattrap seller, to make him believe his words, and then kept them back in the pouch. Next morning, both the Rattrap seller and the crofter woke up early, as the crofter was in a hurry to milk his cow. Even the Rattrap seller felt that as the owner of the house had awakened, so he should also leave the bed. They both came out of the cottage at the same time. The old man locked the door and went to his work. The Rattrap seller also thanked him and went his own way. After about half an hour, the Rattrap seller returned to the cottage and broke down the window pane where the pouch was hung. He took away the money, kept it in his pocket, put the pouch back at its place, and walked off. The peddler was quite happy as he had money in his pocket. He then thought of walking through the forest, as it was unsafe to walk on the highway because he feared being caught. So initially it was not difficult to walk through the forest, but later on it got confusing for him as he forgot his way. He tried hard to walk in the right direction, but in vain. It was of no use, as he found himself at the same place again and again. At this point of time, he started thinking that now he himself was caught in the trap of the world. Just like other people, he was before some time he was talking about the other people, how they get trapped in the world. So here he himself finds trapped. He was fooled by the bait of money which he had stolen from the old man's house. The forest seemed like a prison full of trunks and branches. It was like an impossible prison for him. As it was the month of December, it got dark early. As it got dark, his hope of escaping the forest reduced. The danger to his life increased, and so did his feeling of being hopeless. There was no way left for him. So he sat on the ground and was so tired and terrified that he thought this was his last moment and soon he would die. As he laid his head on the ground, he heard a very strong regular sound. It was a harsh sound that was coming at the regular intervals. He soon realized that these sounds were the sounds of hammer strokes from an iron mill. He thought that he could find some people nearby. And with this thought, he gathered some strength and started walking with great difficulty towards the direction of the sound. The Ramjo Iron Works was a large plant which had shut down few years ago. It had smelter, rolling mill, and a forge. In summers, long flat-bottomed boats carrying the material would come down the canal, which led to a large inland lake for supplying materials to the mill. And in winters, the roads turned black because of the coal dust that came along due to the transportation of the charcoal crates. On one long dark evening near Christmas time, the master smith and his helper were sitting in the dark forge, which was built near the furnace. He was wearing a long shirt and a pair of wooden shoes. Both of them were waiting for the pig iron which was put inside the furnace fire to be ready to put onto an anvil or anvil. What is anvil? Anvil is a heavy block with flat top which is used to shape the metals. They took turns to stir the liquid which was very hot. As they could bear the heat for a few minutes, each of them would return sweating profusely. One could hear different types of sounds in the forge. There was a big bellow which was blowing air in the fire with great sound. Also, there was the sound of cracking coal. One could also hear a bang of the charcoal which was being shoveled by the fire boy. The sounds which were coming from outside the mill, these were of the waterfall, the high-speed north wind which hit the raindrops against the brick-tiled roof. It was due to these different types of sounds that the blacksmith didn't realize that a man, now who is this man? Okay, the Rattrap seller. The blacksmith did not realize that a man had opened the gate of the forge and had entered till the time he came and stood near the furnace. They did not realize, or the blacksmith did not realize. Many homeless people used to get attracted to the lights of the forge, which peeked through the window panes, which were covered with the black powder of burnt coal. They would seek shelter there. They would warm themselves with the help of the burning fire. As the blacksmiths were accustomed to visitors, they were indifferent to this man. They just looked at him. The Rattrap seller's appearance was similar to that of the other wanderers. He had a long beard, was dirty, wore old worn-out clothes, and had a bunch of rattraps hanging from his chest. The peddler tried to seek permission from the blacksmith so that he could stay in the forge for a night. He allowed the peddler with an arrogant consent by just nodding and didn't say a single word to him. The peddler also said nothing because his main aim was to warm himself and sleep. The owner of the Ramshaw iron mill in those days was a very ambitious person whose aim was to sell only the finest iron into the market. Therefore, he used to keep a check on the workers both during the night and the day. The owner was on a night inspection visit when the peddler entered the forge. Unlike the blacksmiths, the ironmaster at once noticed the peddler, who was sitting so close to the furnace that steam was coming out of his torn clothes. He not only went near him but also removed the wanderer's hat, that was bent to one side so that he could see the man's face clearly. When the ironmaster took off the peddler's hat, he mistook him as an old acquaintance. He felt he is Niels Olaf. The peddler didn't know him, nor had he seen this man before. Peddler was not knowing who he is, but the ironmaster felt that who is he? He is Nils Olaf.